I'm Sanvi and you're watching STEAM Superhero Squad. Today's topic is math in dance. Now, I know what you're thinking. Those two don't have that much in common. That's what I used to think. I've been dancing since I was 5, and until recently, I didn't think they had much in common except counting to 4. But check this video out. In this video, dancers are performing a traditional Indian dance called Bharatanatyam. You can see how their footwork is so precise while having to change beats, formations, and most of the time, hand movements. The dancers constantly have to switch lines and change beats and move on from segment to segment with not that much time to change. They also have to count in beats 4, 5, 7, 9, and sometimes they have to go off beat. And if you think about that, it's basically multiplication and geometry. This piece specifically is called a Gettu. You can find these in bigger pieces called Tilanas, some of which I have performed. The Gettu is a part of the piece where dancers focus all their energy into complicated footwork. Here you can see how much footwork is being showed on top of additional hand movements. Now, this piece is reserved for people who have been learning Bharatanatyam for years and years. I call them seniors. They train for hours every day to get to this level so they can perform intricate pieces like this. Additionally, this is also one of my personal favorites because I know a little bit of it and I'm always in awe when I see them performing. The stamina and practice this takes is astounding. Now, I could show you a bunch more examples that I see, but the true test is with the professionals. Let's talk to Heather Bottom, who is now a rocket scientist at NASA, but used to be a Radio City Rockette where she danced on Broadway.
My name is Heather Bottom, and I am currently an aerospace systems engineer at NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Being a rocket is a lot of hard work. We would do anywhere from 7 to 11 shows a week, sometimes up to 4 shows a day. And in between shows, we would actually ice bath the lower half of our body because we would have to do so many kick lines that your muscles would just become worn out. And so it's almost like the athleticism that you would have to be a professional athlete too. It's a lot of fun and it's so rewarding to see the audience light up every day, especially around holiday season. But in general, it's a lot of hard work. So I think the two most common would be algebra and geometry. So with algebra, I would have to look at the numbers in front of me when I was doing a kick line or in a certain formation. And then you would have to move a certain number to the left or to the right. And you would have to look at the numbers on the floor to figure out like where you were supposed to be. And then also like what depth you were supposed to be on the stage. And then for geometry, you would have to know the exact angle that your arms needed to be or the exact angle that your legs needed to be when you're doing kicks. We would have to do like high kicks. And then the Rockettes, since it's precision dance, your arms had to be at a particular like angle height. And you would even get notes that like your thumb was out of place. So I would get notes that like my thumb was out of place. And that would be something kind of geometry related as well. When I first started dancing, I definitely did not think of math and dance to be related in any way. Well, because I'm a systems engineer and I used to dance, now I see the similarities a lot because I am able to see how the brain works in the different environments. And I'm finding that I use some of the same skills in my current job and from when I used to dance too. So I think the main thing that made me want to switch back to engineering was that I really missed solving like complicated problems. And you don't get that as much in dance because in dance, you're using your body and you're connecting your mind with your body. But I wanted to connect my mind with like other problems like outside of the world that were really hard to solve. And so that made me get into engineering, specifically aerospace engineering, because I had studied astronomy in undergrad and I wanted to do something related to the space sciences. And the other part is that it just got really exhausting going from audition to audition to audition. And after a while, I could see that, you know, if I kept at it, you eventually would get something. But I felt like it was time to really make the switch and try to give back in a different way to the world. So I think that, like I was saying, I think that modern dance is probably like the least mathy. But ballet and this certain type of like rocket precision style dance are probably the two that require the most math, because in ballet too, like you have to have like perfect, you know, posture, and your arms have to be in a like, and your fingers have to be in the most perfect place, and your toes and everything, right? And similarly with precision style dance, with things like modern dance or tap dance, you're not going to see like as much, you know, tap dance is a little more like street style dance, or hip hop's a little bit more like you can just kind of groove with it. And so you might not see as much like math related there, because that's more about like grooving to the music. But with these, with ballet and precision like tap jazz, then you're going to have a lot more like math types of things involved, because you have to really pay attention. I think I would, but I'm getting a little bit older now, and I've had 2 kids, and it's getting harder and harder to have the same flexibility and athleticism that I used to. But you know, if I had the opportunity and my body was ready, it might be a really fun thing to do. So in my current job, I actually do kind of the work of like a stage manager or like a director during a show, like a dance show. So I'm actually a lot of times like wrangling different people or wrangling different areas of the spacecraft to make sure that they're talking together and that everything goes smoothly. So I run some like really large tests, and those large tests kind of feel like big productions. So in a sense, that's kind of how I'm using my math brain in the work that I'm doing, and dance brain in the work that I'm doing now. So with that particular number, I do remember like you had to spin it at a certain rate, and it took a lot of practice. So you had to have a lot of intuition and really just preparing like time after time again. But the one thing I do remember that was kind of math related is you would have to watch like how quickly it was going in a circle, because you had to catch it at the right time so that it had the right thing on the front, so that you could like proceed with the rest of the number. So in terms of math, you know, you have to definitely have some practice, but then you have to watch it how quickly it's going so that you can catch it at the right time. And that one was that's a really fun number to do. So yeah.
Wow, that was so cool. It's really interesting to think about math with dance that's linked. And now, every time that I dance, I think I just get a little bit smarter every time. Thank you so much for joining me and Heather Bottom in today's video. If you have any comments or examples of math and dance, you can leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me, and see you in the next video, coming soon.